Hey everybody, welcome back to Tenza Motorsports. Today we're going to be adjusting our ECS Tuning Suspension that we just recently installed on this car. We have not been able to drive it. I pulled it out of the garage about a week ago, but I wasn't able to take it out on the street. It's got a lot of snow, a lot of wet roads, so the suspension, as we've got it set up right now, is all the way down, and the springs are just barely making contact with their adjustments, and the dampening is just in the middle. So there is going to be some adjustments. The car is too low, and my driveway isn't the best. It doesn't have the best gutter in front of it. So we're going to be doing some adjustments today. Before we get into that, make sure you are subscribed to the channel, like if you enjoy this type of content. Also make sure you are following us on Instagram, Tenza_Motorsports. We're doing giveaways. We've got 2 E46 M3 steering wheels that we are doing. Just recently did a video on it. Really excited for whoever ends up winning those steering wheels. Also make sure to check out this Instagram specifically for this car. It's Nikki_Nightmare46. We'll have everything that we use and talk about today in the description. So before we get into this, there's really only 3 major adjustments on suspension. Without swapping out parts or getting suspension that's ridiculously expensive, you've got 3 adjustments. So you've got a ride height setting, you've got a spring rate setting, and you've got a dampening setting. This suspension here is really easy to adjust all those things. All you have to do is take the tire off. That's all you got to do. You've got access to everything. And for the dampening, it's actually on the top. So if you're at a track day or something like that and you're running around the course and you're like, you know what, I'm going to adjust the dampening. You can just pop the hood, spin it, pop the trunk, spin the adjustment. Super easy to do. So today, I want to add just a little bit of pressure to the springs. So right now, like I said, I literally have, if your springs are completely loose, I just put the collar right up to the bottom of them so that they're not slopping around. And that's all the adjustment I have on the springs right now. So I'm going to take those in probably about 2 or 3 turns each, just to get a little bit of pressure on there. I'm going to leave the dampening in the middle, and then we're going to adjust the ride height. Ride height is something that's very important when you're buying coilovers, because that's what most people are buying them for. You either want to raise the car, lower the car, or do both. You know, lower the car during the winter, raise it during the summer. That's a big thing, and these are super easy to adjust. The other thing that I would like to do is I'm going to actually put this side just slightly higher, because this is where the driver sits. My wife will most of the time be in here by herself, where I've got my race car, she's got hers, you know, we're out on drives, things like that. So I'm going to put it up just a little bit, and then we'll have her come out, sit in the car, and then we'll measure it again. I'm more excited to drive this car this next spring than I am my car. So yeah, let's get the tire off and we'll go from there. Two of our 3 settings are right here. As you can see, things are loose because I don't actually have this set up to drive quite just yet, but here is what we'll be doing. In order to adjust ride height, what you want to do is keep these 2 locked together. You'll loosen this, and you can grab this whole thing with your hand and spin it. See how it's moving? Or if you need to, you can actually use your spanner wrench that these come with and adjust the whole thing. That's it. That's all you have to do to adjust your ride height. So if you need to go up, you know, you can already see that distance there is bigger. So we are going to raise the car up a little bit. And then in order to adjust your spring rate, same thing. So you'll lock this down so you're not spinning the whole thing. And then we will crank up the spring rate or lower it or whatever you want to do. So I measured my car, which barely gets into the driveway, at about 3.5 inches to the splitter. And this one was 3. So I need to do about a 1/2 inch. And I'm going to go just slightly over a 1/2 inch. I'm pretty sure, I can't say for sure quite just yet. I'm pretty sure it's close to 1-to-1, especially if you've got really tight springs. If you adjust this 1/4 inch, you're going to get about 1/4 inch on the outside of the car. Obviously the spring will take up some of that, but where we're going to be tightening the springs, I'm going to be doing about a 1/2 inch, actually just a little bit more than 1/2 inch on this side, where this is the driver's side, and it's going to have the driver in the car, and then the other side I'll do exactly 1/2 inch. To recap on the driver's side here, we raised it just over 1/2 inch, and then I cranked up the spring until I was able to read 7 inches from here to the top. There's no real specific way to set up everybody's suspension. This car stripped out and it's going to be a slightly different weight than even another stripped out BMW, because not everything is done on this car. So there's not, there's not an exact, okay, set it up to this, set it up to that. You really have to make sure that they're the same, so right and left are the same, and then go and drive it. That's the important part. The important part is that they're all at the same, roughly the same settings, and then you can go from there. So yeah, we raised the car, change the spring rate. I'm leaving the dampening right in the middle, and then we'll play with that as we go along. So let's go to the back real quick. I'll have the wife come out, and we'll make sure that the driver and passenger side sit about level with her in it, and then that's about it. So let's go to the rear real quick, get that done. It's a little harder to get the camera back in here, but there is the rear shock. So this would be your adjustment here. You would just spin this and then tighten that up, and then your spring rate is over here. And same thing, you will loosen those two collars that are locked together, and then you'll run it up and then lock them together again. Sorry it's difficult to get the camera back in here in the rear, but that's really all there is to it. So I forgot to mention camber adjustments earlier when we were talking about coilover suspension adjustment, but a lot of coilovers don't actually have camber adjustments. It's something that has to do more with how much degrees of camber do you want, okay, set it and run it. Where this kind of stuff here, it doesn't matter if it's a stripped out car. If you like 1.5 degrees of camber, you're gonna put 1.5 degrees of camber. And that's kind of why I didn't go over that as much. All right, so it's about a week later. I have adjusted the rear end. You can see it's taller now. The cars are backwards because I went and recorded a video on this one, so that is coming up on the channel. We did raise up the back to match the front. I got my measuring tape here, so let's go. I got the wife in the car, so we are gonna go up front here. And I just want to see how level the splitter is against the ground. All right, so on this side, looks like we've got just under 3.5. And then on this side, we have just under 3.5. This side's actually, if you looked at it, it was like a 1/16 of an inch taller. That's perfect. With her in the car, that's great. Really happy with the way that this has all been turning out and how easy this suspension is to tune and dial in. We are going to be doing lots more content. The Porsche is getting a set of this ECS Tuning Suspension, so we are looking forward to that. I really appreciate everybody so much for watching. If you have any comments or questions, leave them down in the comment section below. I'm going to do another video on this suspension. We're going to go take it for a drive, and then I'm not sure, we'll probably do like a long-term review or something like that in the future, like 6 months or a year from now. Thanks again to ECS Tuning, fantastic stuff. All this will be linked in the description below. I appreciate you all for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.
Bam!